Hello fellow Pokemon fans, and welcome back subscribers and new viewers. Today's video is going to be a lot about Pokemon. I've made Pokemon videos before. They were less than stellar, but they were still efforts that I tried to put forth. I tried to share as much of my Pokemon Scarlet gameplay as I could, and old fusions and other challenges, making Fakemon, which, baby's first Fakemon, not the worst, not the best, they just need a little refinement. The intentions were there. Same thing with way back in 2017 when I used to make fake monsters. Not even Fakemon, just fake monsters because I like the idea of fantasy companions. For today's video, I'm breaking it up where I get to share my Pokemon card collection, my Pokemon Scarlet adventures, and a couple of story times, and also ranking all 1025 Pokemon. To start with my card collection, these are my prides and joys, and although I don't need them to be legit, I know that those gold cards are not, for spending value. Lugia and Deoxys and a few of the older cards you can kinda tell, including a random shiny Swablu. Don't know if that's a glitchy card or a fake card or not, but I treasure them. And that is because I almost lost my entire collection completely to two reasons. Bullying and family that just didn't want me to have nice things because they thought it was childish and stupid. So firstly, in order, when I took some of my old cards to school, it was middle school back in 2006, I was probably younger than 10 years old at the time, and there were guys who had also Pokemon cards, and they would sneak them in, because this school didn't allow you to bring certain toys and stuff. They were distractions, but we would bring them on the playground. I only brought 20 or so at a time because I didn't want to lose my collection. At the time, I think I had a couple hundred cards. And so I would bring some of the ones that we talked about for the best trades. I brought that Lugia and the others to trade them, and they just were so mean. So the girls didn't like them. Of course, they were just like, that's weird, you're a tomboy, you don't like that. I have stories for that I can share another day. But essentially, these two girls grabbed my cards when I was on lunch break without me knowing from the little desk cubbies, because we weren't allowed to really have, stuff in our pockets outside of, tissues and stuff. It was really weird. The school was stupidly strict, and it had a dress code where we would wear skirts and everything. When I came back from lunch and I was crying and asking if anyone had seen my cards, these two bully girls who were 1 year older than me were just laughing hysterically, and they tore up a couple cards right in front of my eyes in half. They buried most of the other cards in the sand pit, and I found as many of them as I could. As a result, they told the teachers, and the teacher said, you shouldn't have had these in the first place. It was basically your fault. Told my family, and my family basically just confiscated them and threw them in the garbage for the most part. I fished out what I could. Same thing with my Pokemon games. Unfortunately, even those weren't safe. Some were thrown out. I think it was one of my Diamond and Pearl games. Others had to be sold in order to get the next game up. It was a risk-reward, really painful kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that in order to get Black and White, I had to sell Platinum, and I'm so angry about that. Additionally, most of my shinies, like my first ever one, shiny Psyduck and Golduck, are just lost to time. I don't have them anymore. I still held on to Soul Silver, because you're gonna have to pry that from my cold dead hands. Unfortunately, that's another sad story time where I don't have my starter Pokemon because it's stuck on the Pokewalker and the battery died, and I don't think I can get it even if I replace the battery. One of my good luck charms, though, is when I trade nowadays. Arceus here, this was back I think in X and Y. I don't know who got this in a special event and decided to randomly trade it to me, but thank you for that. Because I wasn't expecting it. I don't even remember what Pokemon I traded for it, but leaving the Pokemon's name as is the only reason why I keep those shinies, is because it's like a good luck charm, or from friends who have it. These ones, in box 31, they have names like .gg or .com, or silly names that I just cannot for the life of me accept keeping them. The shinies are so pretty, but it devalues them in my opinion. I can't send out Charizard and take it seriously when it's so-and-so.com as the name. They look pretty, it helps me to add to my Pokedex collection for some that I don't have, but that's it. I will end up probably trading them to anyone who wants them and doesn't care for the name, or just generally blind trading them again, like some of the duplicate Pokemon that I already have. For the Pokemon in the actual, order of the Pokedex, because there is no national dex, there are 232 unobtainable Pokemon. Whether they update this one final time and give us a national dex by the time ZNA comes out, I have no idea. It would be nice. But until then, these are the Pokemon that I have. I'm trying to be able to complete the main Scarlet dex, but that requires me to trade with someone who has Violet. I'm not 100% certain if I'll get lucky and have friends who do have them and want to trade, because I'm happy to trade the past Pokemon Paradox forms that I can catch 2 of and trade them, but one thing that I had to do was I traded my legendary one, the Koraidon, for Miraidon, but that is because I can have a second save file, complete a second game, and then through weird backwards kind of loophole basically get myself that Pokemon back again. Basically, any Pokemon that you can't really get 2 in the same game kind of thing, that's how I'm getting my loophole around it, because if you go into Pokemon Home, and you go under the account, you can scroll down to another person's account, grab that Pokemon, put it in the Pokemon Home boxes, and then switch back to your main account, and then you can drag it into the game. It's a really weird backwards way that I only just now figured out, so after I complete a second round of the game of Scarlet, then I'll have another Koraidon instead of the one that you can, like, use as a mount, if that makes sense, because you can have technically 2 of them. It's a really strange way to be able, for me, because I'm not shelling out a bunch of money just so that I can get my own version of Pokemon Violet, and paying again for the DLC when I've already got it for Scarlet, and it took me till a month ago to, like, reward myself to getting the DLC, because I wanted to keep all of the Pokemon in the Pokedex, because I've learned my lesson the hard way with losing Pokemon, such as my Typhlosion from Soul Silver, by leaving it on the little Pokewalker, not having my shiny Psyduck and Golduck, which I'm trying to get in here. I'm trying to shiny hunt. I'm happy for the odds of it, but me completing the dex and getting the shiny charm isn't something that I can do realistically at the current time, and additionally also using the sandwiches to increase odds, or just getting lucky like I had with some of them, like again, my first one, Sebastian, a shiny Weasel, is like something that I was so happy about. It made core memories. Well, everyone else at the moment was having glitches with the game before they tried to patch all of that stuff out. I'm just really happy for the Pokemon that I do, and although in the case of designs for some of the new Pokemon, I wasn't exactly a huge fan of all of the Pokemon past Paradox forms. I mean, the first couple are cool, but why in the world did they have to do... Sandy Shocks just doesn't look right to me. I don't know why. Some of them I could do without, but I'm adding them to my collection anyways. I'll take whatever Pokemon I can roughly speaking get, and I'm happy I got the timing of Walking Wake right. I know that there is another one, but you can't have 2 of Walking Wake in the game. Same for the other ones. It's, yeah. And then I also have the different forms, because I didn't realize that you can add some of the ones from Legends Arceus to this game, and also, I'm very happy that I have the Pokemon Sword, because Pokemon Sword, you can get almost any legendary, aside from the ones that you can get in Scarlet with the DLC, like Regice and Regirock and Registeel and Gigas and all of that, but in the Dynamaxing, I think it's called, you can like hunt and shiny hunt for some of the legendaries. If you want to go nuts for Lugia, sure. Moving past the games and onto the actual rankings of all 1025 Pokemon, I did not actually organize them from, like, the favorite. I just went by each generation and each one that got slapped from tier S, which is absolutely love it, all the way down to C, which is I don't mind it, and then the last tier, D, is, I don't know how to feel about that. That does not look like a Pokemon. What were they thinking? But those are just my opinions on it, so if you see a Pokemon that you hate in my S tier, that's fine. Everyone has a favorite and a least favorite of the bundles of Pokemon. Now mine, for how I organize these, was mostly off of nostalgia, the general look and feel, and also just if I've played the game and had them on my team, or watched the anime or movies. I've seen almost every single Pokemon movie as far as I can remember, and I've watched almost all of the Pokemon anime up to a certain point, where I wasn't able to like continuously watch it, and I would love to watch the new one, except I don't know how to actually watch it. I don't know what program the new one is in. Moving down to the A tier of Pokemon, these are the ones that I do still really like them a lot. It's just that I can't put all of them as my favorites in the love it category of tier S. Some of them I could do 50-50 on. It's like kind of like a coin toss-up. It's like, do I really want to have some of these Pokemon on my team, or would I prefer another one? Then it gets down to a more fine-toothed comb, the B tier. It's alright. These Pokemon are still sweetie pies, or really cool, or really weird. The gimmicks behind them, I can get behind them, but they slowly become less and less of the favorite ones, because again, I can't just put them all in the love it tier. Some of them have to work their way up with, like, the... Pokemon can grow on me, that's another thing. For all I know, a month from now, some of these Pokemon could shoot all the way up to S tier. It's just, when I was going through this, I spent like 2 hours organizing it. I was not about to go another 2 hours to organize it, like, individually. That's why they're just grouped in the categories. The further down this list is an even further fine-tooth comb of they're not my first choice, or they just go eek. Okay then, that's a Pokemon design I didn't think that they would end up making. They're not my favorite. Sure, they might be somebody else's favorite, or just unnecessary. And the D tier is just, oh, Arceus, what were they thinking? Those don't look like Pokemon or even alternate forms that would even remotely necessarily be needed, but that's just my opinions on it, because again, I'm very sad that they still haven't added another evolution, but it's because they didn't want to have to deal with the troubles of all the Fakemon. But either way, I'm still grateful for all of the 1,025 Pokemon that we have. I just missed the national dex. That being said, if you are looking for more Pokemon content, don't worry, this isn't the only Pokemon video that I'm going to be making this year. I aim to do fan art in my style, to do proper studies so that I can expand upon the way that I use techniques, and so that I can stop ignoring backgrounds instead of just making OCs every year. To do this, I'm going to be making a fan fusion of my dream team fan art. Essentially, instead of just picking 6 Pokemon and drawing myself as a Pokemon trainer, which would be really cool to study the Pokemon art style, I am going to expand on this further by picking another 6, so 12 in total, combining them back into 6 and making them as Pokemon fusions of my dream team, so that will be a fun little challenge for it, because essentially I want to make something whimsical instead of something that looks like this. Because this is what I see when I look at my old artwork that you saw at the beginning of the video. It's just something that I really want to improve upon. I would love to be able to have fun with these illustrations, and I have improved upon poses and lighting and all of that, even for that particular illustration. I know that I have improved from the stiffness that the old drawings are, it's just that there are areas of weakness that I still aim to improve to feel satisfied with my own artwork and happy while producing it, so that it still reads as something from Stencil Fox, instead of just stranger on the internet made another Pokemon piece. So thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope you guys do enjoy this, and if you're a Pokemon fan like me, share some thoughts down in the comments below. Because everyone has a favorite Pokemon, and I have many favorites. I can never really narrow it down. There's favorite legendaries, there's favorite starters, there's favorite types. All of that stuff is just the thing about Pokemon that makes it so whimsical and magical for me, and why I enjoy it and want to be able to share more of it with all of you. Thank you so very much for watching, and stay possum. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so very much. If you have not already, don't forget to leave some likes and comments, and subscribe to join the Subscribblers squad. In the meantime, don't forget to check out some of my playlists, and if you would like any fan artwork featured at the end of the video in the Subscribblers gallery, tag me in it. I would love to see what you guys make. And if you'd like to support my works and see more, check out my card link below, especially for the patron exclusive rewards. £2 a month, the Fennec Fox tier gets you access to secret sketches and artwork early. The Arctic Foxes, for £5 a month, you get exclusive access to videos and webtoons pages early, and the Red Foxes have the opportunity to be featured as a background character or a commission instead, and your name read out at the end of the videos just like this. Thank you so much to Frankie Jr. 13. Stay possum, Subscribblers, and I'll see you real soon.